Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today, as you can see, I'm going to be drawing in my iPad, and I've been getting a lot of requests to do a full-on real-time drawing on my iPad, showing you guys just how I work digitally on my iPad. And I'm going to be doing a full-on illustration on my iPad today, real-time, no sped-up clips. But before we get into that, today's video is actually sponsored by Sketchbook School. They are an online art school for beginners who love to sketch, draw, paint, and they have tons of online art courses on watercolors, lettering, sketching. So the reason I want to talk to you guys about Sketchbook School is that they're actually releasing a new course this week on the 16th of September, and it is about how to be an iPad artist, which is right down my lane because I myself am an iPad artist and I love to use Procreate on my iPad. It's a 4-week course, has 68 videos, live webinars and exercises, and also homework for you to practice your art. This course aims to teach you how to make beautiful and expressive digital art using Procreate on the iPad. I've actually been taking the course myself, as you can see over here. I've been watching all the lectures that they provide. I've been learning a lot about using tone and black and white grading to figure out tone in a drawing before adding color. And yeah, I'm still going through it and I really enjoy it so far. If you sign up for the course or any other course, you'll not only get a lifetime online access, you'll get invited to the schoolyard. So this is a social network where you can share drawings, get feedback, and meet Sketchbook School students all over the world. Another cool thing is that I'm actually giving away 10 coupons for a discount on this specific course, How to Be an iPad Artist, to 10 lucky winners of a giveaway that I'm doing on this video. So all you have to do to enter this giveaway is be subscribed to me, subscribe to Sketchbook School's YouTube channel, and then finally just leave a comment down there on this video letting me know why you'd want to get your hands on this course. So thank you so much to Sketchbook School for sponsoring today's video, and with all that said, let's get right on into the video. So I'm using a 2000 by 2000 pixel square canvas today, and that's kind of normally the one I go for because it's a really big resolution, always at 300 dpi, of course. And I'm doing a sort of portrait today, inspired by some reference pictures, and it's just an idea that I had a few days ago for an illustration. And while I do this today, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk to you guys a little bit about using reference in art and reference pictures in general. It's a very requested topic to talk about, and from you guys, obviously. And yeah, I thought it'd be a nice opportunity to have a little chat about it. I wrote down a couple of points here. So yeah, I think reference pictures are obviously very good, especially when you're practicing your art and when you're starting out as an artist and learning human figure and just the proportions, facial proportions, etc. So yeah, reference pictures are obviously the best way to go about that if you have no opportunity to go to live drawing classes and if you have no access to the subject that you're trying to draw in real life. Although, when you use reference pictures and you post the drawings that you've done of reference pictures, I think personally that it's always good to credit the reference that you've used. Now, a lot of people don't do this, obviously, because it's kind of a hassle to get the original picture and post it, and then like finding out who the real original like photographer or whatever is. But I think it's always good to at least try to find it, you know, the person who had the original idea for the thing that you've drawn. And if you can't, obviously mention that you couldn't find it. But I think it's always good to, you know, be mindful of that, especially if the reference that you're using is from another artist or photographer, because obviously someone else had the idea to do that. They put in the work to create that image that you basically recreated. It's a very big and kind of controversial topic about using other artists' work as reference, so other painters and stuff like that. So it's not the best idea to redraw like another artist's drawing without giving credit, obviously, because what you're doing basically is taking credit for the, you know, the idea of the drawing, the composition, colors, maybe just the whole concept of it. It's as if you're taking credit for it. So it's always good if you're using someone's someone's art as reference, either get permission from the artist to post about it first. And if they give you permission, obviously give them credit and everything. if you don't hear from them, it's always good to give credit, because some artists really love it and they love to see people recreating their art and obviously getting better at art by using them as reference. I myself, I really don't mind it when you guys redraw my art and my sketches and my drawings. I think it's really, really cute, and I love to, you know, it's a good feeling knowing that you saw some of my art and thought, yeah, this is something that I think will help me improve. Most times than not, if you add the original artist and credit them when you post a recreation of someone's art, you should be fine most times rather than not. But again, another thing falls under that, which is like if you're making money off of that art idea. That's a whole other topic, but I'll touch upon that in a bit. So I thought it'd be cool to talk about how I use references personally in my art. So as you know, I'm a huge fan of Pinterest, and I have a bunch of boards. I always link my Pinterest down in my description of my videos. And yeah, you guys can follow my boards and see what images I use as references and inspiration. So yeah, what I do is if I ever feel like uninspired or for a lack of ideas or anything, what I do is I'll go into my boards and just like scroll through them, and eventually something will like spark an idea. And sometimes what my brain will do is it'll pick up on a bunch of different things, and I'll create like something that takes a bunch of ideas from a bunch of different things, and I create my own thing based on those themes or ideas, if that makes any sense. So I really do obviously avoid copying, because that's not great. I avoid copying other artists' work, obviously. And what I'll do is I'll take inspiration from, I don't know, themes or like an object that I've seen, or an angle, or like a specific color that they've used, or a type of lighting. And that'll normally spark an interest in me of something to try out. Another way that I use reference pictures is obviously when I do studies of images, which is another thing that a lot of artists do. And this is obviously great for, you know, just keeping on top of your human figure and your facial proportions, and just obviously staying on top of your skills. And it's always good to every once in a while do a little study of an image, if it's for color or for the proportions or whatever it is that you're practicing. It's always good, and I do that a lot. And it's always good, obviously, to post the reference picture that you used for the study. Although if you post about it and you mention that it's obviously a study of an image, people already know that this is not your original idea. Does that make sense? If you're mentioning that it's a study of an image that you saw on Pinterest, most of you guys follow me on Pinterest, so you probably will have seen the picture that I was talking about. But if it's possible, it's always good to, like, you know, post the picture as well. And I know I'm guilty of not always doing that, but I just think that if you mention that it's a study, people get the message that it's not your original idea or concept, obviously. Yeah, and I do this a lot. I love doing studies of like portraits of people and just pictures of people that I see online that I think are really cute. Sometimes it's of like celebrities that I like, obviously, and it's just a good way of just doing mindless drawing. And it's, I don't know, I think it's really good, and it's good to keep on top of practice. So I definitely think that's a good use of reference pictures. Of course, I don't usually, or not at all, put any of the studies that I do up on my shop. So making money off of a drawing that you've done based on another artist's work, whether that is a photograph or a painting or drawing or whatever it is, obviously, it's not the best idea to try and make money off of someone else's idea and original concept. So that's definitely a little something I wanted to mention, is that if you've done a study of a picture or a study of, I don't know, someone else's photograph or something, it's always best to not put that for sale, if that makes any sense, because obviously it's someone else's idea and work. But obviously it's a very gray area. Like it's not always black and white for this situation, because obviously fan art kind of falls under that. And of course fan art, it's super like done by everyone. And it's I think it's fine personally. It shows someone's love for a massive like creation, and everyone knows it's something that's widely known. I think it all just falls under whether people know that who the original idea and concept came from, if that makes any sense, because that is literally like half the work of the artwork. So the original idea and concept are always really important to know who's credited for it. This kind of brings me to the draw this in your style phenomenon that is very popular on Instagram and social media, and it kind of started like a few years ago, and it's now like obviously super massive. I'm personally a very big fan of the whole draw this in your style thing. It's such a good challenge for people. It gives people an opportunity to draw from another drawing from an artist that they probably love. Not only do they then share about this artist, and it creates this like sharing community of people sharing other artists' work, and it just, I think it's a very wholesome thing to do, because for example, if you're doing a draw this in your style, you're automatically giving people obviously permission to redraw your art, and everyone feels super comfortable doing it, and there's no like, you know, awkwardness about it. I just think it's a really nice opportunity for smaller artists and other artists like myself as well, just being able to redraw from someone else's concept and idea. For example, sometimes at night I'll just want to draw something, but I don't have the mental power to like come up with something new, and this is when I will divert to my draw this in your style folder, where I'm like, which draw this in your style do I want to do today? And it's always a really good exercise just to sit there. You don't really have to come up with something, you just kind of have to recreate something else, and I think it's a really nice exercise. And even better for people who are like beginners. So like for example, for this drawing that you're seeing here, I used like a sort of a reference picture of a model that I saw that I had saved on my Pinterest, but obviously changed it up a little bit. I kind of just used her pose mainly, and the hairstyle a little bit as reference, and then added in this sort of concept that I had, which was making everything super polka dotted and giving her like this these like colored spots on her face. And this is kind of like the steps that I take when I'm doing these sort of things. This is how I make my little exercises. I'll mix up a bunch of things and try and create something new, and sometimes other ideas spurt from doing this, and it leads into other drawings. I'll sometimes even start with a reference picture. I did this the other night actually. I was just doing a study of a picture that I had on Pinterest, and then I got super inspired by looking at it, and it turned into something completely different, into its own thing, and it turned into a really cool illustration actually. So sometimes things can actually come from just using a reference picture, and it ends up not looking like the reference picture at all, and it turned into its own thing. So that's always really cool as well, and it's just a really fun thing that comes from using reference images, and it just turns into inspiration, you know, rather than a study. So yeah, I think that's kind of what I had to say about reference images. I don't really have anything else to say. I just think it's good as long as you're being considerate of where credit is due, and just trying to keep people happy is always good, obviously. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about this drawing that I'm doing. I don't think I've mentioned this yet on the channel, but I purchased these brushes from Tara's Art. I'll link them down there because the name is escaping me right now. But I bought these brushes off of her Gumroad, and I am obsessed with the specific one called Oval Sketch. I use it for everything, and when I say everything, I mean everything. I use it to sketch, I use it to line my drawings, I use it to shade, I use it for everything. It is the best brush ever. So I'll definitely link them down there for you to have a look and see if you want to buy them. I heard about them from Sarah Faber's vlog. She mentioned them in one of her vlogs, and I had a look and I fell in love with them. So I definitely recommend them. That's pretty much the only brush I use at the moment. I also kind of modified it so that the maximum size could go a bit higher, because I like using it for shading of the face, and obviously I like to have it a bit bigger. So that's the only thing I did to modify it. But it's really a really nice brush, and all of her other brushes are really good as well. So I highly recommend you having a look on her Gumroad for other bits and bobs. I just really like them. Yeah, I just kind of went a little crazy with the polka dots. I mean, did I though? We don't really know. I just think this drawing is kind of like really bubbly and cute, and it's colorful. It's all very pastel, which is a personal favorite thing of mine, is just turn everything really pastel-y and beautiful. And yeah, I think this sort of like format of video is also really good for you guys. I just really also enjoy doing them because they're just easier to edit as well. But I don't know. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this, of just a real-time drawing process of mine. I know I did one a few weeks ago where I drew in real time traditionally with just a pencil and stuff, and you guys seem to enjoy it because you said you could see what I'm doing a lot easier, just like specific strokes and stuff. So hopefully this is easy to follow as well. Although I know that I have a weird like way of drawing where my hand kind of covers the pencil, but hopefully you can see kind of what I'm doing. And another thing that I really love about this brush that I got from Tara's art is that it's got like texture, which I always love in my brushes when I do shading and stuff, but it doesn't have too much like rough texture. It's like, it's smooth, but it's also rough, and I really like it. It gives like a sense of texture to the drawing that isn't like pulling away all the attention from the drawing, if that makes any sense. I think it's just the right amount of texture, and I've been looking for a brush like that for ages. I also recently, I don't know if you noticed, but I've recently got some new attire for my iPad. So I got this new case, which is really pretty. It's like watercolor-ish. I also finally got my hands on a PaperLike screen protector. I mentioned this a lot more in depth in my studio vlog, which comes out next week. But yeah, I finally got my hands on a PaperLike screen protector. It's like a matte screen protector, and as you can see, it just doesn't reflect any light. It's gorgeous. I love it so much. I'm very obsessed, and I've converted everyone else in the house to getting one. So I really enjoy it. It just has like a really nice texture when you draw on the iPad, just completely different to the other like glass screen protector I had before. Super different experience. I really enjoy it. And I also got this new like silicone rubbery thing for my Apple Pencil, which I really love. I hate using the Apple Pencil on its own because it slides off my fingers a lot, and it feels uncomfortable to me. So I always like having some sort of rubber grip, and this one is perfect because it's like, to me it looks like a onesie, so it's like an all-in-one thing. And to charge it, I just like pop the cap off, and I never lose anything, and it's perfect. So yeah, I'll obviously leave the links down there to all my new thingies from my gadget. And I get this question a lot on my Instagram, even though I always link it down in the descriptions. But I actually have an iPad 6th generation. It's not the iPad Pro. I got it like 2 or 3 years ago, yeah, because it was a lot cheaper, and it's still compatible with the Apple Pencil. So, and it works perfectly for me personally. I don't feel the need to get an iPad Pro or anything at the moment. So I highly recommend if you're looking for a cheaper option. And now you just kind of see me just keep adding detail and rendering out everything that I can see that looks like it needs rendering. So I just want to say a big thank you to Sketchbook School for sponsoring this video again. Don't forget to sign up to be an iPad artist course. It started on Monday, on the 16th. You can find it on sketchbookschool.com, and that's school with a K. And you can find the link in the description below, obviously. And again, don't forget about the giveaway that's happening on this video. I'm giving away 10 coupons. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to Sketchbook School's YouTube channel, and leave a comment down below telling me why you're interested in taking the course. And I should probably tell you that the giveaway ends on the 25th, so in a week. So don't forget to get on that, you guys. And that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you drew along with me. Hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye!